Hello, everybody. This is John Paval with Access Arts Live and the Friday, December 5th, 2025 live stream update. And we have a full schedule. Today, there are at least 4 symphonic concerts that you can enjoy this evening, European time, afternoon, and morning. American time. There are a couple of full-scale choral works. There's a Christmas concert, a Weinachtsfest kind of concert for you. There's an unusually St Marys Perivale is live streaming in the evening on a Friday evening because they have such a top program for you. And Composers Concordance will be on line on their Facebook page later today in the evening in New York City with the usual unusual madness going on. So having said all that, let's get on to today's live stream lineup so I can tell you all about them in a reasonable period of time. Let's start with the Weinachtsfest, Friday, December 5th, 7:30 in the evening, European time. You're in Frankfurt, Germany. 1:30 on the East Coast, 10:30 in the morning on the West Coast. They're having their annual Christmas special called Christmas All Over the World. There'll be music from the Magic Flute, the Nutcracker. There'll be some Mozart, and we'll finish along the grand finale with a sing-along in German, auf Deutsch, with the German television host presenting the concert, auf Deutsch. So brush up on your German and have a good time. At the same time, 7:30 in the evening European time, Stage Plus presents Andreas Ottensamer, conducting the Tonkunstelorchester Niederösterreich and the Ensemble Interpunkt in Mozart's Jupiter Symphony, number 41, and the Requiem in D minor. Now, if you missed this one, you'll have a chance to hear the Berlin Philharmonic play the Jupiter Symphony tomorrow. And curiously enough, both of your opportunities to hear the Jupiter Symphony will cost you something, €9.90. The second piece on the program is the Requiem in D minor. I want to tell you a little bit about the different soloists. The mezzo, who's the key soloist in this Mozart Requiem in D minor, is Kate Lindsay, whom, if you're following Access Arts Live, and I encourage you once again to follow and or subscribe to us, you would have already seen her recently playing Mélisande and Péléas and Mélisande in a live stream by the Vienna State Opera on November 2nd. She's also appearing, she's appearing with the Hamburg State Opera this year. She'll be playing the title role in Gluck's Iphigenia in Taurus with the Washington Concert Opera. That's Iphigenie en Tauride in the French version of that title. She'll be Idamant and Idomenea again at the Wiener Staatsoper, and with the Munich State Opera, she'll be Cherubino in La Notte di Figaro. So there's some real top singers in this concert. The tenor is Matthew Newland. He'll be with the Hamburg State Opera this year as Tamino in the Magic Flute. He'll be playing the title role in Attis by Lully in Versailles, where they have these lovely concerts out there at the castle, at the Chateau de Versailles. He's turning Wagnerian, doing debuts as Parzival in a new production at the National Opera in Prague, and as Sigmund in Die Valkyrie at the Deutsche Oper Berlin. The bass baritone is Alexander Grassauer. He's a young guy just building his opera resume, but in terms of doing concert singing, he's done Beethoven's Ninth in Bangkok. And in Salzburg, Bach's St. John Passion and Handel's Messiah at the Wiener Konzerthaus. He's done Mozart's Requiem at various concerts in Germany and Italy. And last year, to show you how new he is, last year he was a great talent at the Wiener Concerthus, where they had him, featured him in several projects. So he's being groomed for stardom. Then finally, the soprano is Christina Gansch, who, among other things, studied at the Mozarteum, so she should know what she's doing with the Mozart piece. She's a regular at places like La Scala, the Bavarian Staatsoper, Glyndebourne, where she played Melisande also, the Paris National Opera, Covent Garden, San Francisco, etc. So top people in this Mozart's Requiem, if you want to shell out the $9.90 to see it on Stage Plus. If not, at 8 o'clock in the evening, a half an hour later, the Gulbenkian Orchestra will be playing Beethoven's Pastoral Symphony, which is my favorite of the Beethoven symphonies, actually. This is Hannu Lintu is the house artistic director and conductor there. They'll start out doing Sibelius as the Tempest Suite number 2, Opus 109. Then they'll do Sebastian Fagerlund's Nomad, which is a cello concerto. And on that, they'll be bringing in Jonathan Roosman, who's a rising star kind of Dutch-Finnish violinist, graduate of the Sibelius Academy and finishing up at Kronberg in 2020. He's worked with top Nordic conductors like Sakari Oramo, Esa-Pekka Salon, and Jukka-Pekka Saraste, Matthew Hals at the Tampere Philharmonic. And this is not his first turn with Hannu Lintu, who is also Finnish at Gulbenkian, and maybe that's why he's been at Gulbenkian before. But he's also played it with the Mariinsky Theater Orchestra and the St. Petersburg Phil and the Moscow Virtuosi. So he hasn't been afraid to cross the Baltic and to the east and sing with and play with the Russians. Now, if that doesn't suit you, at the same time, Friday, December 5th at 8 o'clock in the evening, by the way, which is 2 o'clock in the afternoon on the East Coast and 11 in the morning on the West Coast, the Bavarian Radio Symphony under Andris Nelsons is doing an interesting concert. They start out with Carlos Simon's 4 Black American Dancers, and then they do a piece by Bernd Alois Zimmermann, a trumpet concerto called Nobody Knows the Trouble I See. Interesting thing about this is the trumpeter that he's brought in to do this is this top class Swedish trumpeter Håkan Hardenberger. You're not going to find a better trumpeter than him. And the other thing is that Håkan and Andris have done this piece before. They did it in 2018 with the Leipzig Gewandhaus Orchestra at the Royal Festival Hall in London. They did it in 2015. With the Philharmonia Orchestra in London. So this is a practice piece for these two guys. And there is a way that when you perform something and then you go away from it for a few years and then you come back to it, you have this higher understanding and then you build more layers of artistry into it. So that makes this an interesting concert for that reason alone this evening. If I had to pick between all of them, be hard to pass this one up. For any of the others. And then they'll do Strauss, after the pause, they'll do Strauss's Till Eulenspiegel's Merry Pranks, which is always a fun piece to hear, and finish up with Maurice Ravel's La Valse. Interesting program from there in Munich from the Bavarian Radio Phil. However, after that, at 8:15 European time, Friday, December 5th, 2:15 on the East Coast, 11:15 in the morning on the West Coast, St. Marys Perivale is live streaming top pianist Peter Donohoe playing Beethoven, Busoni, and Mozart. This is a full-scale concert. He'll do Beethoven's Sonata in A, Opus 101. That's 21 minutes. Then Busoni's Fantasia Contrapuntistica, which consists of at least a dozen different sections to it. That's 30 minutes. So you've got almost an hour before the interval. Then he'll come back and do Mozart's Fantasia in C minor, Koelschel number 475, and Beethoven's Sonata in B flat, Opus 106, the Hammer Clavier sonata. This is a full, 2 hours worth of programming practically. And he's one of the top musicians of our time. His most recent recordings include 6 volumes of the Mozart piano sonatas. He's done at least 22 appearances at the BBC Proms, and he's toured with the Russian State Philharmonic Orchestra all over the UK, which not every pianist can say that. 2 more pieces to tell you about this evening. Friday, December 5th at 7 in the evening. New York time, 4 o'clock on the West Coast, 1 o'clock in the morning here in Europe. Composers Concordance is back with a concert called Ragtimes. And this is Gene Pritzker bringing together another gang of top musicians to this time to do contemporary compositions and pieces in the spirit and or rhythm and or framework of ragtime, I believe. You got to check it out to find out. I'm never sure exactly what Pritzker and his people are going to be doing, and that's part of what makes it great. Usually they're unusual. And then finally, a little later than that, at 7:30 in the evening, Friday, December 5th, in Baltimore. That's 4:30 on the West Coast, 1:30 in the morning here in Europe, and 11:30 in the morning down under in Australia. On Saturday morning, the Canticle Singers of Baltimore will be doing a concert called A Choral Kaleidoscope. They'll do Bebel's Ave Maria, Britten's This Little Babe, and then to be announced selected works. And it's already Friday, and they haven't announced it online anyway. The Canticle Singers, it's a women's chamber choir. And they specialize in compositions and textual settings by women composers and poets. That's what we have for you today, folks. It's a very varied and a very full list. I'm sorry we're doing this live stream a little later than usual. I like to get this done by noontime here in Europe, but there's just so much going on, and there was so much extra research that had to be done to prep this up for you. So, I will say, enjoy this. I may be back later today. Probably will be back later today because tomorrow we have 2 full-scale operas going on. One of them is being done by OSESP, the Sao Paulo Symphony Orchestra, and the other is the Vienna State Opera. So tomorrow evening, European time, there are going to be 2 operas being live streamed, both of them free of charge. How often does that happen? And I need to do some workups on both of them for you, as I always like to do, because there's really no way to fit operas into this framework where I'm trying to list everybody else. There's too much to talk about with any one given opera. Ciao for now. Have a great Friday, and keep track of Access Arts Live, and you may know when I'm coming back online to do these other bits, but it's entirely possible that I'll do both of them as part of a weekend highlights, a special edition today towards 6 o'clock in the evening, European time, noon on the East Coast, and 9 in the morning on the West Coast.